Welcome to the making of a DM. How to borrow belief to get whatever you want in your life. With that said, let's get started.
I'm more Kevin's DM. I'm more Kevin's DM. I'm here to help and teach him what I know and how I did it. To discover freedom. There ain't no question more Kevin's when he step in the door. He's closing deals. Time to tell him what the DM stand for. I'm a deal maker. But I'm not just a deal maker. I'm a dream maker.
Hey there, it's your host, Mark Evans, DM. That's right. Sitting here in beautiful Shaker Heights, Ohio. About to head back to Florida here shortly. Today's show is a very powerful show. You may want to listen to this a couple times because what we're going to do is be digging in to some very powerful stuff to allow you to unlock things that you probably don't even know you need to unlock. If you're not accomplishing what you want in relationships and business and wealth and careers and health and everything in between, this show I hope resonates with you because I spent a lot of time, putting this together and doing some research and thinking more and more about it on how to help you guys understand the power of borrowing a belief system. Now, I know it may sound a little crazy, and I got to give props where props is due. My boy, Jonathan Riviera, he's the owner of the Podcast Factory that does this show for me. Him and his wife, amazing people, help me get this show to the world, like yourself. And we were talking one day in a mastermind group where everyone pays $35,000 a year to be a part of, and we're talking about, how powerful it is to be sitting in these kind of rooms and all that. And I do a lot of thought on the tots, like I talk about. So I was wondering, why some people, because there's guys that I see and gals that go to mastermind groups, some excel drastically and some just kind of peter out and do the same old shit every single day. And I always ask myself why. Because the truth is, the DM family, I always want to be the most successful, and the DM Alliance as well, the most successful groups under the moon. It means a lot to me. I think about it daily, hourly, probably every second of the day. How to make it better, stronger, tighter, more profitable for them. Streamline their life, have a better life, make a bigger impact, and all that. And you might be thinking, Mark, what the hell does it mean borrowing a belief system? Well, like it or not, we all have borrowed a belief system from our parents, our grandparents, or anybody that cares about us. We typically are around them with our belief patterns. How do you the way you handle your money, the way you handle your business, the way you handle your health, the way you handle your finances and everything. This is all belief, right? So it's so strong, most people don't even know they're doing it. So I've told you the story about me nearly going bankrupt twice. It's because I didn't have a good mentor. I had a terrible belief system that would literally, I would get money and then literally just lose it. Not lose it, but I'd spend it and blow it and waste it, right? My belief mechanism was I didn't understand how to manage it because I never saw anybody around me manage money. No one had money to manage because every time they'd get it, they'd blow it. So my pattern was very similar. Get it, blow it. Get it, blow it. Get it, blow it. It just so happened that my money coming in was a little more than them. That doesn't make it right or wrong. It's just I figured out the belief system of how to make more, but I didn't carry my belief system over on how to manage more, right? So there's a massive disconnect. And I want to be clear here because something I'm sharing here with you has a lot of power, and our belief systems are amazing. Guys, by the way, this goes for everything, but it could serve you or it could hurt you. And we're going to talk about both sides. But what I want you to understand is this. Our belief systems, I'm going to use parents, for example, because it's close to us, right? It's our parents, for God's sakes. Our belief system, what they share with us, we have to realize everyone has strengths and weaknesses and values. We're all different people. Our wants, our strengths, our values are different. So when someone says something to us, back to my first show, guys, by the way, what the fuck do you want, right? That's a question we have to ask against everything that's going on in our world, because if it's not aligned, you don't do it. If it's not our core value, we don't do it, right, etc. But once you know what you want, once you know what your strengths and weaknesses are and your values, you can start navigating this stuff and understanding the thought on the thought of this belief system that has been handed down to us from generation to generation to generation. This is why, again, in circles, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, because the belief systems are all sharing and carrying down the belief system. So I'll share some real stories with you on my side. So, for example, I remember 5-ish years old. I remember it like it was yesterday. My dad and my coach come up to me. This is T-ball. I'm playing T-ball, by the way. They come up to me and they say, Mark, bases are loaded. We need a home run to win, and you can do it. I'm getting goosebumps even saying it. You can do it, Mark. I wasn't really into sports. Yes, I hit the ball and had, played a little bit and all that, but I wasn't like, sitting around thinking about becoming a professional baseball player by a long stretch. But I remember them saying it to me, and I walked up to the plate with the T-ball, and I felt as if I did it already. And sure in the hell enough, guess what happened? I hit the ball. It goes over everyone's head. We all run in and we score and we win. All of us. I actually got the game ball. If I would have just walked out there because they're like, oh, you can't do that, or you shouldn't be here, or this or that, I would have believed them possibly. But in that moment, I believed their belief in me that I could do that. It created a different swag. It allowed me to walk up to the plate with confidence, courage, and I did it. But also, some of the beliefs that they carry over, like I shared earlier about how people manage money. So a belief pattern that I grew up with, if anybody had money, they ripped someone off. There's no other way humanly possible to be filthy, stinking rich unless you rip people off, was my world. That's how I grew up. They're not bad people. That's just what was carried over to them. They never did the thought on the thought conversation you and I've had over this making of a DM. So they don't have the wherewithal or the insight that you're gaining here today. It's a very powerful tool once you understand it's a tool. Because some people see it as a curse. Every time I get money, I always lose it. I always get taken advantage of, or this or that or this, right? Well, that's not the case. You're attracting that. That's your belief patterns lead you on to believe that's real. Same thing with relationships. We've all seen people that are in relationships, and it's almost like a constant, every new relationship they get in, it's the same type of person, the same outcome. Boom. That's never going to happen again. Sure in the hell enough, 3 months later, they're going through the same situation. They've been casted a belief that's how it is, and that's the way it will always be. I always knew that I would be rich. Swear to God. I had no clue how. Guys, I'm talking from an early age. It was something I've thought about all the time. I still do. Because I want to be stupid, stinking rich. Not for the money, but for what the money does. And for the value I bring to the marketplace. It goes against everything I've been taught about money. And yet, my passion and purpose is directly like I want to be filthy, stinking rich. And I think you should too. Just like I think you should be physically fit beyond belief. See, my belief pattern when I hang out, and again, I'm not knocking any of this. I'm just sharing real life stuff. When I go to family reunions, the majority are overweight. They look way older than they are. And they're always starting next week. It's Saturday. We're pigging out. No big deal. I'm 80 pounds overweight. I'm starting next week. These are patterns. I've seen it my whole life. It's everywhere. My belief that just was normal. And when you're all hanging out together, looking like together, acting like together, guess what you're going to get? The outcome is pretty clear. So I want to be like super duper healthy, hence why I'm investing and creating a supplement company. Not just for money, I want that too, but also I want to be super in tune with what health is really about. I want to understand it. I want to be the healthiest person in our family tree so I can carry my belief onto everyone that's in my belief circle. Have you ever thought about, we've heard this story about the guy that runs the 4-minute mile, right? The 4-minute mile, if you're running, you're sitting there busting your tail, you run a 5.5-minute mile, which is amazing in itself. And no one says it's impossible to run a 4-minute mile. Well, the world believed him. The world believed that, right? Until one day, someone runs the 4-minute mile. And then once that happens, multiple people run a 4-minute mile because the belief pattern has been changed. They believe that they could do it now because someone else did. My goal in my life as I get wealthy is like people see me and they're like, wow, if that knucklehead can do it, why can't I? And you don't even have to understand it. Just borrow it because you already know what your belief system does for you. You can look in your bank account and I can tell you what your belief system is about money. You can look at your investments, if you have any, and tell you what you believe in about investing. I can look at you physically and tell you what your belief patterns are about health. I could look at your relationships and understand your belief level about relationships. See what I mean? These have all been carried down. I remember 18 years old, sitting in a room. I've talked about this many times as well. I was paid for an event. I paid money to change my belief patterns, by the way. I saw a guy, Russ, make a phone call, and I said, I can do that. If I already knew that belief system worked, I wouldn't have to go to the event. I didn't even know you could make money making a phone call and talk to a motivated seller and have them pretty much give you their house. I didn't even know it was a thing. But what I did, and what I recommend you guys do, is to borrow belief from other people. So when he did that, I went straight to the room and started making calls. Other people in the room said, no way that's possible. This is staged. It can't be that easy. That's their belief system. I was so open and ready. I already knew what my belief system was teaching me. By the way, when I'm saying I knew, I didn't know it was called this, by the way. I knew what I had, which was nothing, and what I wanted, which was everything. And what I was doing clearly would not work to get me what I wanted. This is a wake-up call. This is a reality check, if you will. So I had to get around people that were doing what I thought I wanted to do to start changing my belief system so I could believe that I could go do this shit. From that point forward, I've been going to masterminds my whole life. I've been a part of many, 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 many masterminds. And I've semi-jokingly said, if you want to get successful, and you're not right now, at this moment, go to pay for a mastermind, sit in the room, Meet the people, communicate with the people, and listen and learn, and you'll realize that they're no different than you. They have no secret weapon, maybe action, right? But if you're showing up to a mastermind, you're paying to show up. You already have action muscle going on. Maybe you need to redirect some of that action, but that could be a belief pattern. So I jokingly say, I would go invest in these masterminds to meet people dumber than me, and pretty much would come up to my conclusion, if they're this dumb doing what they're doing, I'm smarter than them. I can do that too, or more. I would take his belief or her belief system that they had at the moment of me meeting them. I would take that and go use it to get real life outcome to prove the belief system was real. My belief, I'd get bigger, grow, get more financially independent, learn how to invest better, etc. I still do this today. I hang out guys that are worth a lot of money. And I can tell you this. No one puts their clothes on any different than we do. We all have to eat, sleep, shit, brush our teeth. We don't have to do that, but you should want to. And all this other stuff, right? So what's the difference? And it's not, well, they have this or they have that. No. It's they have a belief system that they've been working on and developing through implementation to get results, to get feedback, to believe more or to learn more. I'm constantly learning. You never fail, by the way. You're always learning. What'd you learn? You just say if you just lost 10 grand on something, on a deal, you didn't lose 10 grand because you know exactly where it went. It didn't go in your pockets. But what did you learn? What can you take away from it? This is real, folks. Pay for masterminds. Pay to get involved in groups. Get in these rooms and realize that you are capable of so much more. For some reason, we've created this mysterious thing like if someone has money, they have these amazing superhuman powers that you and I may not possess. That's what we think. But I assure you, when you meet these people and hang out with them, you'll realize there's nothing they have that you don't have access to. Nothing. You'll realize that they're failing every day forward, i.e. learning. The biggest thing that they have, truthfully, is they don't quit. That would be the biggest thing. They just don't quit. That's a belief system. If you fail, do you quit? Do you get embarrassed? Or do you think people are pointing their fingers at you? Let's get back on this topic real quick. Do you really think you're that important? Like if you fail, do you really think people give two shits? We live in a world where today things are happening so fast, you're a thing of the past in a nanosecond. The only real person that cares about this is you. But if you stop and do nothing, it serves nobody. Borrow belief. Meet someone that's higher than you, if you will, in the moment, knowing that's where you want to go, and borrow that belief so you can take it and implement it in your life, get results, and grow. And every day, every month, every year you do this, it compounds bigger and bigger. I know this. I was sitting, and guys, by the way, you are implementing belief systems on other people yourself right now as we speak, by the way. When I was at a golf course a couple years ago, I was sitting with a couple buddies. They're pretty big online now. Actually, they own really big companies. And we were sitting there, and they're like, who in their right mind would ever pay me $5,000 for my information? That's a belief system, by the way. What's your value? And it was me and two other guys. True story. I stopped eating. I looked at them, both of them, dead square in the eyes. and said 1,000% you both are worth at least bare bones that and much more. I believe it. But the real question is, do you? And as this conversation pursued, we started opening up the light of like, holy shit, he's right. Both of these guys now have multiple $1-million companies that sell training and their expertise. Now, I'm not taking the credit for that, but they borrowed my belief in them. Just like when I was 5 years old, my dad and my coach did to me. And this happens on all different levels. I've always been a big fan of cool houses, big, expensive houses. Are you with me? I made a donation in 2004 to a charity that I supported. And part of the charity donation, I got to go to the $36 million mansion in Palm Beach, Florida, on the ocean, of a house I've dreamt about my whole life, these types of houses. I've never stepped foot on anything remotely close to this level. I did what any hillbilly kid from Ohio would do that wore pink and Kangles. I threw on white pants, a very pink shirt, some pretty cool shoes, and my white Kangol that I've still been wearing today, and got on the truck, the car, I should say, got in the car, and the driver dropped us off at the house. And I swear to you on my life, as soon as I opened the door and stepped foot on this grass of this house, I believed I could be the buyer of that house one day. No one had to say, Mark, you can do it. So our belief is through our actions as well. Step foot, I walk in. I'm mingling, meeting people, very on purpose. I was like a dog on a bone. I'm looking for the buyer. I want to meet the person buying this $36 million house. I want to meet the developer, the person that had the balls to build this house. I want to shake his or her hand, and I want to say, I want to look them in the eyes, and I just want to know that they're human. I'm being honest with you. Well, I did both. Changed my life. I believed, like when I met the buyer of a $36 million house, I said, this guy has nothing more than I got, except a different belief system. He's not smarter than me, at least from my conversation I had with him for a few. He's no different than me. I was in my 20s. He was in his early 50s, late 40s, early 50s. I said, I can get that quicker. He's behind the 8 ball, not me, if that's what I want. And as I do this more and more and more, this is a true story. These are all true stories, actually, where it changed my belief patterns as I developed. I nearly went bankrupt twice because my belief about getting money and keeping money and saving money and growing money, I never had someone to mentor me on that. I never understood what it looked like. I never heard the conversations around investing, ever as a child. It's not talking shit about my parents. They just didn't have any extra capital to be investing. They weren't thinking about that. They were very young. They were just taking care of the family. They did an amazing job making sure we had roof, food, and all that, and love to take care of us. I respect that and appreciate that more than anything in the world. But picture if your children or your grandchildren or people close to you, you're instilling this belief. You can sure in the hell bet that I'm talking about money, relationships, health, constantly around my family and the people I care about. It's in my DNA. I talk about it everywhere I go, actually. A lot of people think it's taboo to talk about money. People that have money talk about money. That's what we talk about. People have problems. Guess what they talk about? Problems. People that don't have money, guess what they always talk about? I don't have money. So they're talking about money. They're just talking about not having it. We're talking about how to grow it, how to protect it, how to keep more of it, how to gain more visibility, how to make a bigger impact, how to give more away. I believe every one of you fuckers listening to the show can have anything you want if you're willing to put the work in. This is not easy work, by the way. You have to deprogram your brain to get what you want. If you don't have what you want, it's not because it doesn't exist in the real life. It's because it doesn't exist between your ears. You haven't created the belief system pattern to allow yourself to take the steps to get the outcome. Recently, I did a post on Labor Day. I was sitting out back. My son's out behind me playing in the sandbox. Beautiful day in Shaker, Ohio. And my wife takes a picture from outside looking in. It's probably like 12 or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know. And I posted on Facebook and, all the social media, whatever. And I share a story about listen, when you have a dream and goals, you work. I see people everyone's looking for an excuse to get off and not work and celebrate. I'm not working. Motherfucker, you haven't been working for the last 3 years. What are you talking about? Now it's okay because you're not working? Because it's a holiday? But my days are the same 7 days a week. Typically in the morning, very heavy. I love what I do. So getting back to strengths, what's work? What does work even mean? Let's get clarity on what that word even means. A lot of times when you say, oh, I'm working, that has a negative condensation to it. People think, oh, you got to work, man. F your boss, dude. Take off. See, I'm working for my dreams and goals while other people are working to put in the hours. I don't care if it takes me an hour or 10 million hours to get my goals. I'm going after my fucking goals. I'm not saying there shouldn't be a little bit of, awareness, not a lot of awareness, I should say, of I got family, I got kids, I got a wife, I got other stuff to do, but I'm not out dicking around. Truth is, I can't even remember the last time I've hung out with a buddy just to hang out. I don't hang out. The people I hang out with, if you will, would be my family, my in-laws, my parents, my sisters, my wife, and my kids. And if I'm hanging out with buddies, I'm hanging out with guys in the DM family, DM alliance, or guys I'm doing business with. Why am I going to hang out just to hang out? What's the sense in it? What's the purpose in it? Again, this is me. So I don't care if you're judging that. I'm just saying I don't hang out to hang out. We're going to talk about the Kardashians. We're going to talk about football that I give two shits about. By the way, I did do something pretty cool I meant to tell you about. So my father-in-law and my father like football. I don't really watch sports, as you know. I talk about that. But I do like to hang out with my family. And I do like to use money as a tool to create memorable legacy experiences. So what I did, Cleveland Browns were playing opening game here recently. And I called my father-in-law, which my wife is still amazed that he said yes, which I'm glad he did. I said, hey, do you want to go to this game with us? Me, you, my dad, and baby DM, my son, Mark. He said, hell yeah. Boom. Call my dad, same thing. So I go get amazing club seats for all four of us. Cost a couple dollars. We take car service down there so we can relax, have fun, and just connect. This is me hanging out, by the way. And I'm able to create a legacy moment that my father, my grandfather, me, and my son will remember forever. We were able to laugh. My kid was eating every candy thing under the moon, popcorn, drinking lemonade. My dad had a couple beers. My father-in-law was hanging out. He was excited to be there. He's never been there his whole life. I mean, all these things. Money is a tool. I don't care about money like it's just money. Money's a tool to me. So I use a lot of it to do memorable things like that. I'll share more of what I've done over the years and what I'm doing now, even more elevated on legacy memories with my family. But guys, I could walk outside and die today. How cool would it be? My son could be able to pull up these videos, my dad, my father-in-law, and people who care about us and watch these videos of us laughing, having fun, and doing something memorable, doing something like over the top. My belief is this. If we don't create the legacy moments, who's going to? It is a very powerful tool, folks. I'm not here trying to just blow wind up your ass and make you feel better. This is a reality of making of a DM. A deal maker and dream maker has to do things different. We have to be constantly forcing ourselves out of our comfort zone, getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. Understanding that if you already knew it existed, why don't you have it? If you want it, it's because you don't have the brain limitations to gain it. This isn't seen as a bad thing. This is an opportunity to understand and break down the characteristics of what you need to do. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your belief systems inside of these major components of finance, health, relationships, career, etc.? Understanding where your role and responsibilities and opportunities and obstacles are inside of each one of those. I'm not proclaiming to have all this shit figured out because I'm on a constant learning expedition every day. I'm reading daily. I'm listening daily. I'm growing daily. Not just by listening and learning, but actually fucking implementing it and getting feedback. While you're sitting there thinking about all the failures or thinking about this could fail or that could, I'm doing the fucking work. So when my wife when we post that picture of me outside sitting on Labor Day, we would get comments like, "Oh man, you don't understand. You got to get balance. I'm not trying to be a dick, but you got to understand family." Dude, I have an amazing fucking family. My family gets all my time whenever they need it and want it. But me as the driver, if I'm not happy, if I'm not growing, if I'm not driving and leading, that's what excites me. That's what makes me happy. And that's with my family of my wife, my kids, as well as my family of our companies, of people that work with me. It's not always sexy, easy, and pretty. Oftentimes, it's not any of that. It requires dedication. It requires effort. It requires consistency. And the people making the comments are always fucking broke. You don't even have to tell me you're broke. I already know you are, because people that have businesses and have wealth and have an understanding of what this is all about realize that that's a nanosecond moment on social media. And if you want anything big out of life, do what everyone else is doing. Because all you motherfuckers are a bunch of sheep. And that's the facts. As my boy Sean would say, you got to be the lion, not the sheep. Bah, bah. They're all running around on the same bullshit. Yo, man, check out my new TV. Oh, you think that's a TV? Come over, check out my new TV. Dude, you're fucking broke in an apartment. You're worrying about a goddamn TV? Shut the thing off, sell it, give it away, whatever, and get the fucking work. I've never, in my entire life of as highly successful people, met someone that's comparing TVs, bullshit cell phones, anything meaningless like that to gain coolness factor. Yo, dude, check out my $100 shoes. They don't give a fuck. We're busy building a business. I would be more impressed if you knew your KPIs of your company than if you told me how cool your TV is or what your specs are on your whatever you specs of anything you have other than your company. Guys and gals, I'm here to give you a reality check of a moment to like, how do you build belief? Get around people that are doing shit. Get involved. If you're not getting the results, if you don't understand sales, get with salespeople that understand sales and see how they do it. Believe in the process. Understand it is a process. Borrow belief from people doing what you want to do. You either do it or they kick you out. Recently, I was talking with some guys in a group, and one guy's slacking big time. Actually, he's one of the guys talking shit about, Oh man, I'm hanging out with my son. I'm not. Dude, get a life. No one said don't hang out with your kids. That's what you heard because that's what your belief system made you hear. That's why you're fucking broke. That's why you're complaining. That's why you're fat. That's why you're overwhelmed. That's why you're frustrated. Because deep down inside, you know you're better. But your belief system isn't allowing you to step out of it. It's harsh. It's called fucking life. When you guys understand this and take it and run with it, the doors unlock. It becomes so much easier. There's rules to this shit. Know the game you're playing. Understand the rules. And go get what you want. Whatever it is available to you. If you can't tell, I'm a little bit passionate about this subject. Because I want to see you succeed. There's nothing as a successful person that wants to see someone not succeed. It doesn't take away from me when you succeed. We grow bigger as a unit. We can do more together. But you have to do your part. You can do your thing. Listen, this is a work in progress. We have to drive this deeper in understanding of why this shit's going on. You might be 18 listening to this, or 80, or older or younger, everything in between. But at the end of the day, if you don't grasp this concept and start understanding the power of it, and listen to the show about thoughts on thoughts, or TOTS, and digging in and understanding what becoming a DM actually means to the root, not the fucking surface, what you see outside looking in. Opportunity galore. The world becomes your oyster. You can have whatever you want and do whatever you want with whoever you want. But you realize when you have this power, it's a responsibility to yourself, everyone you care about, and people don't even know you, to make an impact by sharing your information, by being a giver. I don't have to do this show. I want to do this show. I want to help you. I want to be present in the time when you need help. But you have to show up. You have to meet me halfway. I can't do it for you. I'm over here flicking the light. You're not paying attention. We got to get on the same page. We got to grow. We got to drive. We got to dig deep in our soul. We all have the flame in our belly. Just some are way lower than others. And we need to start putting some gas on that fire to get excited about what life is about. These may not be challenges you're facing in your brain. They might be opportunities to grow. Have you ever thought about that? What's the saying? Life wasn't to you, it's for you. When shit gets heavy, the reason it's heavy is because you can handle it, or it wouldn't be given to you. Start seeing the good in all. I'm not saying you can't be pissed, or I can't say you're angry and all, but it doesn't serve you. If anything, get pissed off at your situation, knowing that there's more available. I would love nothing more than for you to succeed at the highest level of any level you're capable of. I truly believe this show is going to make an impact in millions of people's lives across the world. People I'll never meet in person. And I wish I could meet everybody. It'd be amazing. But as we're growing the show, I appreciate you guys sharing the show with your friends and colleagues. I know I get crazy excited sometimes, but hey, that's who I am. What can I do about it? And as the show evolves and we develop, not just me, but together, more importantly, take this shit I'm sharing with you, implement it, you will see a change. You will see progress. I'm not here saying all this shit is easy. Why does it have to be easy? I know going to the gym is easy, but why isn't more people doing it? Because it's hard when you're in there. You got to push your boundaries. If you're going in there just to get a sweat, that's different than if you're going in there to get improvement. Different intensity. Stop acting like you're going to live forever. You're not. You're going to die. That would be a common theme in all my shows, by the way. We're all going to die. Stop acting like you're going to live forever. I wish someone told me that when I was 18. I would be 100 times bigger than I am today, maybe 10,000 times bigger. Because I was just moseying around, dicking around. I was king of the dipshits. Man, I can't do anything about that now. I can do something about it now, though, for you guys. But I appreciate you guys sharing the show. What would be amazing, if you haven't done so already, make sure to leave me a review over on iTunes or any social media platform where you're listening to. It'd mean a lot to me. If it's under 5 stars, please let me know, because you'll hurt my feelings. But it is what it is. I have no intentions here to sell you guys anything except the power of the next level. Whatever you're doing, you could do 10, 20, 100, 1,000 times bigger. You're capable of so much more. I want you to invest in yourself. Go to a mastermind. Meet people. Understand and borrow their belief when they're selling a business. One of my buddies getting ready to sell a business right now for over $300 million. That's one of my goals in my life, to sell a company for 9-figure exit. I know this guy very well. He is definitely not smarter than me. And I'm not saying it in a negative way. It's just him and I, we've talked about this. He just has got into an environment that's been and pushed his limits and growing and growing and growing to a new level. He's inspiring me. This is my buddy. He's inspiring me to do more. He's unlocking another level of my brain at what I'm capable of. I was shooting for 100 million, but I actually secretly want 500 million. So why not fucking say 500 million, Evans? It's different. Like, I don't know. I wish I knew the answer, because if I did, I would have said 500 million, right? These are the thoughts on my thoughts that I'm thinking about. But I do appreciate you being here. I do want you to know I'm here for you. I got your back. If you need some insight on a show or a topic matter, please let me know. Contact me. Stay up to date. Let me know on social media. Make sure to check me out on Instagram at Mark Evans DM, and or Facebook or any social media platform at Mark Evans DM. I'm there. I'm present, and I want to help you. You got to be willing to raise your hand and be willing to help yourself, though, first. Hope you have an amazing day. Thank you very much. Make today count. Peace.
I'm Mark Evans DM. I'm here to help and teach them what I know and how I did it to discover freedom. There ain't no question Mark Evans when he step in the door. He's closing deals. Time to tell him what the DM stand for. I'm a deal maker, but I'm not just a deal maker. I'm a dream maker. The journey's where it's at. It's all about the process. It's time to get over to the DM project. From a small town in Ohio, so I know how it is. And I come from a lot of money. I remember as a kid, wanted to make 100 racks. Didn't see no one making more than that. Graduated high school with a 1.8. They should've held me back. I hope my principals and teachers are alive just to witness this. I'm my own boss. I'm out here running 2-8-figure businesses. I can walk away from it all and I'll be good, but I've been called to help people just like y'all learn the game. It's time to ball. Everybody chasing the money, but I'm not chasing the money. I'm out here chasing the purpose. Yo, I've been working my whole life. What got us where we at isn't gonna get us where we wanna go. So it's time to push, time to learn, time to grow. I'm Mark Evans DM. I'm here to help and teach them what I know and how I did it to discover freedom. There ain't no question Mark Evans when he step in the door. He's closing deals. Time to tell him what the DM stand for. I'm a deal maker, but I'm not just a deal maker. I'm a dream maker. The journey's where it's at. It's all about the process. It's time to get